Hi everyone, this is Joy with Create It with Joy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Today's card is a really cute, pretty Christmas card made with Gina K Designs Warm Winter Wishes card kit. It's got really pretty blues, golds, and red. So to start off, I'm going to be inking up my background. I'm starting with Neenah Classic Crush Solar White cardstock. And I'm going to be inking that up with Distress Oxide ink in Tumbled Glass. I wanted a really soft background, a really soft, pretty blue, but that had kind of that icy feel to it. And so for me, this Tumbled Glass works really, really well. So I'm just laying down the color. I'm not super worried if it's kind of splotchy. And when I say that, I mean like in a good way. Because to me, it just kind of gives more of that sky feeling, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to keep my fingers out of it by using a little scrap piece of paper and just getting a pretty good coverage on this cardstock. Then I'm going to be taking Broken China and Distress Oxide inks, and I'm going to be going around the edges because I wanted to have a darker edge and a lighter inside. So you still have that kind of icy blue feel with both of these colors. So I'm just going to go around the edges till I feel like I get the right look. I will go back with my Tumbled Glass and blend out so there's no harsh edges on this cardstock. Again, I'm using a scrap piece of paper to keep my fingers out of it so I don't have fingerprints because I'm getting this paper pretty saturated. So now from the stamp kit, I am just kind of laying out my images. I've got birds, I've got branches, I've got my Merry Christmas sentiment, and I'm just laying it out, even though I will be taking off some of the stamps and just starting with a few stampings. Is stampings even a word? I don't know, but it works for me. So I'm prepping my paper with the anti-static tool. Also, one thing to remember is when you've inked up your background, you really need to make sure that it's dry. So let it sit to dry or use your heat tool to get it to dry faster, but you don't want your embossing powder to stick. So I am using Simon Says Stamp Clear Embossing ink, and I'm going to be inking up the branches, and I will be embossing those with white embossing powder. So I'm starting with my top branch, and then I'm going to move it down and have a branch towards the bottom. So I'm just using my heat gun to heat that thoroughly and make sure that's nice and done. Now I'm going to flip the card over, I'm putting it back the right way. I have to move the branch and move it a little bit lower. I have my sentiment in the middle, even though I'm not ready to heat emboss that yet. I just have that for placement so I know where to put my branches and my birds. There was a couple cute birds in here, and I'm going to use both of those guys, and I'm going to be inking those up in red, but we're not ready to get to that yet. I'm going to stamp up this bottom branch again with clear embossing ink. I'm prepping my paper again with the embossing powder, with the embossing tool. I cannot even talk this morning, you guys. Because I was touching all over the paper and the oils from my fingers could make the embossing powder stick. Heating that with my tool gun, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So now I'm going to add these cute birds. And for this, I wanted to do a red ink, and I'm going to be using Ranger's Archival ink in Vermillion. Really a beautiful red color. Absolutely love it. Their Archival inks stamp wonderfully on top of a distress inked background. So I'm inking those up, getting a really good stamp. Then I'm going to be using clear embossing powder on top of the birds because I want them to be shiny as well. So I'm going to heat that up and the birds will be done. Making sure your heat gun is nice and hot. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking the stencil from this card kit, and I'm using Wendy Becky's Make Art PlayStation. And I'm going to be inking up using a clear embossing ink pressing really hard through the stencil. You can see that these magnets hold it down fantastically. I absolutely love this Make Art Station. I said PlayStation earlier, and that's not true. I'm just having issues today, you guys, so excuse me, I'm quite tired. I'm using a white embossing powder. So I want the snow to be over the birds, over the tree branches, I guess. I want it to look like you're looking through the snow at these really pretty birds outside. So now I'm going to take Ranger's Dylusions White Linen Shimmer Spray. I'm going to spray that all over because it gives it this really pretty shimmery white kind of a look. It's really hard to describe, but it's really, really pretty. Then I'm going to be taking Lawn Fawn's Liquid Stardust, and I am just dropping droplets all over, and they come out into these like perfect little circles everywhere. And it just looks like you're looking through all this shiny, beautiful, glittery snow. Using my heat tool to get that nice and dry, and now you can see all the difference there. Now it's time to stamp the sentiment. It says Merry Christmas. This is from the card kit as well. And I'm going to be using clear embossing ink. And I'll be using Ranger's ultrafine, no, not Ranger, sorry, Simon Says Stamp ultrafine antique gold embossing powder. Cleaning off any spots that were sticking. A little bit of stuff was sticking to the liquid stardust. I probably didn't let it dry long enough because I was being a little bit impatient. And I like to start on the back of my paper a lot when I heat. It kind of warms it from the back. And then I kind of go to the front and then I go back and forth. But get this nice and heated and melted, and it turned out beautiful. I love, 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 love how this card turned out. I trimmed a little bit off each side and attached it to an A2 size card base. And as you can see all that shimmer, and it looks like you're looking through the snow at these pretty birds. And then you've got that gold sentiment that just pops. Really, really love this card. Really loved that stamp kit from Gina K Designs. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and listening to me ramble today. I appreciate all of your support. If you like what you've seen, please thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment. I appreciate all of it. I do have some affiliate links below. It costs you nothing, but it does really help me. So thank you so much for using them. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Bye.